This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Thanks for being with us today. If you've been in Rexburg lately, you know that there are some new restaurants that have opened, and today we are speaking with the owners of one of them. It's called Righteous Slice. And here with us, Bill and Cheryl Crawford. You guys opened officially about a month ago.
Yep.
This is more than a pizza restaurant. You guys have quite a story as to how you ended up in Rexburg and how you ended up opening this. You're not from Rexburg, correct?
That's right, yeah.
But you've been there about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what brought you to Idaho?
We, you know, it's interesting. We were living in Tucson, and I had a pretty good job there, enjoyed what I did. We had wanted to start a pizza place, and so we've been saving what we could over a number of years, and we're just about ready. And then an opportunity came to teach at BYU Idaho, and I just felt really powerfully that we should come and do that.
Teach business?
Yeah. So we moved here 5 years ago, and I started teaching and just had a great time and loved it, and so that's what brought us to Rexburg.
With the idea that you were going to open a pizza restaurant, or was it just to teach?
It was just to teach. We had decided we would put that pizza dream on hold indefinitely, and so we really figured we wouldn't do it. And actually, before we ever moved here, we had thought, where could we open a pizza place where we could sell a really high quality product in a casual environment and not be open on Sunday and not sell alcohol? And Rexburg really rose to the top of that list. So even before the teaching thing came up, we had felt like Rexburg would be a great place to open our concept. But it's not why we came to Rexburg. And when we came, we felt like, hey, let's focus on teaching, let's do a great job there, and just kind of put the pizza dream on hold for a while. Where
did the pizza dream come from, Cheryl? I mean, if it was years ago, why that idea?
Well, Bill's always been passionate about everything, including pizza, and he's been trying to, for years and years, he's had pizza in different places throughout the world. With his job in Tucson, he traveled the world, and he found a pizza place that he just loved in France, of all places, Strasbourg, right? Mm-hmm. And the owner of the restaurant was so nice and took him back and showed him how they made the dough the day before and how they shaped it and did everything. And Bill said, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, he had this amazing wood oven, and the pizza came out light and crispy and flavorful like I'd never experienced before. And when he had me come back that night to show me how to do it, and I thought he was doing me a favor, but it turns out I think he was playing a joke on me, because just knowing the ingredients and knowing you have a wood oven aren't enough to make this kind of pizza. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice and a lot of patience and passion. So after he taught me, it still probably took me 2 years to really learn how to do what we do here.
So in the course of the 2 years, you're experimenting at home? Yeah. Making all sorts of different doughs and sauces and everything?
Yeah.
And he I had an oven imported from Italy, because who doesn't, really?
It was a little oven, 500 pounds.
500-pound oven from Italy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you how much that cost, shipping alone.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
It was less than a car.
Okay, well that's not bad. So was that in your house?
Yeah, we had that one. Backyard. And then it wasn't big enough, so we bought a second one.
Oh, wow.
That was still less than a car.
Yeah, it was 3 times the first one, but it was just a nice little, we still have that one here, we brought it up here.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's at our house here.
Yeah.
And then the one that's in the restaurant now was 6,000 pounds.
From Italy?
Yes, it came from Italy. It's made by Gianni Acunto.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so you moved to Rexburg. You put the dream at the back of your mind, maybe one day. Mm-hmm. When did you seriously start thinking, yeah, I think we should do this?
We really got pulled into this. We did a few farmers markets. We did some of the street festivals in Rexburg. And we had long lines, like really long lines.
Selling these pizzas.
Yeah, out of our medium-sized oven, I guess. It was on a trailer. We brought it up here, and it was kind of just a real backyard operation. And but the people would come, and they'd come back, and you know, we'd open just a couple of weeks a year, and it wasn't uncommon to have somebody come in and wait in line, and tell us they were skeptical. And then we'd see them back an hour later that same night. and that happened quite a bit. So we got a lot of warm reception, a lot of enthusiasm from people for what we were doing, which gave us a lot of confidence. We also helped another local restaurant get started in the area, and so we got some knowledge about how to run things and what we could expect when we opened and as things kind of unfolded, and so it really gave us a lot of confidence that this was going to work. And so we just started looking for a place to open, and that probably took a year. I think we looked around Rexburg. We got to know a lot of people who owned places and buildings. And
you wanted it in Rexburg.
Yeah. We actually looked in other areas, but it just seemed like even a 30-minute drive to Idaho Falls or somewhere in the other areas, we found some potential places there, but that drive was going to be more than we wanted to put in when we could spend our time focused on actually serving and making the food.
So you guys have had an interesting background. Before you moved to Rexburg in Tucson, you went to Harvard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I joke that I have a master's degree from Harvard, and then I realize it's true. You don't need a master's in business to start a pizza place, but it has been helpful. I've had a lot of friends from those days that were encouraging to me and have given me a lot of advice. Before that, I actually flew jets in the Air Force. So after I graduated from college with a degree in engineering, I hoped I would never have to use it. And I went to pilot training and flew the F-16 for a few years. And then got tired of being on the road all the time and found a sweet gig flying the stealth bomber. And so spent about 4 years and just really loved my time in the Air Force, but felt like I wanted to do something more creative and just kind of explore, and life had so much to offer that I went out and I wanted to start a business, but I knew nothing about it, so I felt like maybe I should get a business degree. And joked with a friend that maybe I could go to Harvard, and next thing I knew, I was at Harvard Business School.
Yeah, a lot of people might apply to the community college or the state college, state university, but Harvard.
I just try to do, if I'm going to do something, I just want to just do my very best at it.
So you go to Harvard, graduate from Harvard, and then you guys move all over the place. Where did you all meet?
In college.
Okay.
I went to BYU in Provo.
BYU in Provo.
Yeah.
For the undergrad. So you're with him all along the way.
We got married just after he graduated and was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing different jobs at all these different stops, 13 different places?
All those places mostly were Air Force.
Were they?
Yeah, and then after we left Boston, we moved to Tucson. I got a job as a business manager at a cancer diagnostics company. I wanted to do something connected to a deep and meaningful purpose, something similar to what I'd done in the Air Force. And I felt like this company was fast growing, they had good values, good people, and they did something really noble for the world. And so I went there, and I still had this entrepreneurial bug, and I've always been passionate about teaching. And so, the teaching here at BYU Idaho has been fantastic. And the pizza business is really just another way to just live passionately, to share and try to inspire people to do something amazing. And so for us, that's pizza. It doesn't seem as noble, but when you talk about hiring young people and then giving them training and encouragement and helping them build skills that I hope will change their lives. And I hope that they feel every day, I hope they know that I love them. And I hope they feel that from me. So it's my personal goal to bless everyone's life who comes through those doors.
Where did the name come from?
Oh my, do you want to talk about that?
Go ahead and tell them.
Okay, well, so here's what happened. I created this pizza. It had fruit on it. And it was probably raspberries and pineapple and some just really interesting things. And put it on social media, and a friend of mine commented that it looked righteous. And I was like, yeah, righteous. That's a fun name, righteous. And so and we had another friend who said, Bill, you can't call this pizza. When you call it pizza, people are going to get the wrong idea about the quality and how special it is. And so we just try to find a way to communicate that this isn't normal, and it isn't what you would normally expect. And righteous sort of has two meanings, right? It's kind of a very positive affirmation, and it also means the highest level of goodness that you can achieve. And so those two things seem to really fit what we were trying to do. And then slice is just a way for us to say, hey, this isn't a normal pizza.
Okay, so you open up, or you're getting ready to open. How do you come up with the items on the menu? You mentioned the fruit pizza. Is that on the menu?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, that one's
well,
not.
A variation.
Yeah.
There's a fruit pizza.
How many pizzas
Yeah.
how many variations do you have?
We have 8 specialty pizzas on the menu that are specially curated, and then we have a build your own option.
So you
So the
do want a
possibilities are
pepperoni and
endless.
olives. You can get a pepperoni and
Oh, for
olives.
sure.
Yeah, for now you can. I mean, so one of these.
But if you want
yeah.
if you want one with Nutella in it, we've got that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so go through, you
Berries.
said 8 specialties?
8
Go
specialties.
through some of them. What are the unique ones?
Probably my favorite one is, we call it Praise the Lard.
That's the most popular
And
for sure.
it's just loaded with
Lard.
meat. Yeah, well, I don't know, but we've got, we make our own sausage in-house. So it's a proprietary recipe. It's got a little spice to it, a little sweet, and I think the sausage itself is just fantastic. And then it's got a spicy salami. It's called a capicola. No, it's not capicola, sorry. It's sopressata. So it's a spicy sopressata, which is a lot like pepperoni, but there's some differences to it that make it a little earthier and kind of give it a little more rich flavor. And then we add pancetta, which is a milder form of bacon. It comes from Italy, and so it's not quite as fatty, and it doesn't have quite the same amount of preservatives in it. So it's got a really nice natural flavor to it. We put those 3 meats on the pizza with our handmade mozzarella. All of the specials, except for the marinara, which doesn't have cheese at all, have house-made mozzarella. We make it right there in Rexburg, right in our place.
Wow.
In fact, it's funny because our first supplier, they had no idea how much we were going to sell, and we kept running them out. They couldn't keep us stocked with the supplies to make the cheese. And then so we tried a different supplier, and they said, oh, for sure we can keep you stocked. And the very second order we tried to place with them, well, you run us out. So the fresh mozzarella has been kind of one of those stories that surprised me, that we are having a hard time getting the raw materials to make our own cheese in-house. But
Wow.
so
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So that's Praise the Lard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what are some other ones?
Well, I think the Sunshine in My Soul is another one that you'll never see anywhere else. It's got same handmade mozzarella, a generous layer of basil, and then lemon on it, thinly sliced lemon. And the lemons...
Like lemon slices?
Yeah,
Yes.
lemon slices. You're supposed to eat the rind, so you just eat right through the whole thing. And they do have one like this in Italy, and a friend of mine in New York makes one like this. But those are straight up lemon and basil, and they use a smoked buffalo mozzarella. We're using our handmade Fior di Latte. And we put a turbinado sugar on it, which is just a sugar in the raw. So it's a coarse grain, kind of brown sugar that we sprinkle on each of these lemon slices. It doesn't really sweeten the pizza, but it takes the bitter out of that lemon, so that you can eat right through it, and it's light and fresh and really different.
And so how many years did it take you to come up with these flavors, with these different, varieties?
It's been a 12-year journey.
12 years.
Yeah,
so
that's probably right.
experimenting with dough and toppings and cooking methods.
And how do you know? Because to me, the lemon one, I want a pizza. I want
Right.
vegetables and meat. I don't want fruit and sugar.
Yeah.
How do you know? Oh, this one will be a hit.
We just test it. People, we serve. I don't know how many. We probably serve thousands of pizzas out of our home for free for years.
And that being said, I could try it and fall in love with it and say,
yeah, and that's what
That's what
happens,
I
right?
want.
People are
That
skeptical. They
happened a
try it
lot.
and then they go, "Wow, that not only did it surprise me, but it's my favorite one." I think one of the most surprising ones for me was what we call the bee sting, and it's a knockoff of a Diavola pizza. Like, it's supposed to be a little spicy, and so we put some crushed red pepper on it, and then we put some spicy Italian meat and some ricotta cheese, and then we pour honey on the top of it. And that one, I've seen different variants of it, but when I put it on the menu, I don't remember ever even building one or trying it or anything else. I just wrote those ingredients down and said, we're going to do that. And that's
is the
probably the
staff
second most
favorite.
popular pizza that we sell.
And the staff,
Yeah.
everyone on the staff loves it. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Really?
much across
Yeah.
the board.
That's true.
Their favorite and usually another one.
So what's number one? You said the
Praise
second
the
was
Lord.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord, the
Yeah,
meat,
yeah.
meat,
Sure.
meat one.
Yeah, everybody loves meat.
So you mentioned when you said build your own, and you said for now. I mean, is the goal to get away from that and only do these specialty type pizzas?
Oh, I'm so torn, Nate, because there's the part of me that says we should retain control over the flavor profile, because I've been to your build your own places. I make pizza, and I can't remember ever going to one of those places and being happy with what I created for myself when I finally sat down to eat it. And so I'll sit down, and I love these places, but I'll do all kinds of fun things, and then I won't like it. I'll have my child's sausage and pepperoni pizza to kind of make myself feel better. So I don't want people to come in and have the experience where they didn't like it, and then they felt like, well, that's just not a good place. So we're trying to create things that are really special and keep some control over that. And so even on your build your own menu, we've put a list of ingredients together that we believe if you mixed any combination of those, you'd be happy with what you got.
You don't want to be Pizza Hut. You don't want to be Domino's.
No, in fact, if somebody, it's funny because we get a lot of requests for ranch dressing. And
Daily.
I just think, gosh, if everyone else is doing it, that's a reason to not do it for us. So
you don't have ranch, I'm assuming.
do.
No,
don't have ranch.
no, we don't have ranch.
How do you decide not to cave into that? Because I would think, well, if it's popular, let's get it. I mean, is that a discussion you all have?
It is a discussion.
Yeah, we have.
So
That's probably our most heated discussions are about.
Weekly discussions with the executive team.
It's funny the things you argue about in the pizza business. You're like, hey, this pepperoni, we need to upgrade it. You know, you're like, who's having an hour-long discussion about the pepperoni's not good enough for us? But in this case, we spent a lot of time. So this pizza is soft, it's delicate. When it comes out of the oven, it's a little crispy. But if you put it in a box and put the lid over it, the steam softens the whole thing. And so it will change your whole experience with it. And you'll end up with something that's, I mean, a lot of people still like it that way, so it's not terrible, but it's not the same. And so we encourage people to dine in, and we want you to experience the pizza the way it was meant to be eaten, which is on a ceramic plate and in a nice dining environment. We went out of our way to build a place that looks beautiful. It's got New York City reclaimed brick on the walls, and reclaimed wood that we went over to Western Oregon and brought back wood from a house that was built in 1906, and spent the summer with our own hands reclaiming the wood and installing the bricks, and really putting our hearts into something that would be special. And so we want people to come in and experience that whole thing. When you put it in a box, it tends to get a little soggy, a little less, I guess, inspired.
You want them to have an experience.
Yeah,
This is not just grab a quick bite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can tell that you're passionate about this. I mean, do you foresee this ever being full time, where you take these other places? Are we going to get one in Idaho Falls and Pocatello and?
Oh gosh, what do you think? Probably maybe January. No.
I say
Breaking
let's
news?
get location
Yeah.
number one down,
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we'll see about expanding.
I mean, I think
We're still learning. I mean, we've only been open a month. We're
Yeah.
learning a lot, but we're
What's
learning.
been the biggest thing you've learned?
What is the biggest thing?
Well,
we've
for you,
learned?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It's new. Making pizza is hard, and training people to make pizza is hard.
Oh gosh. Yeah, those are definitely lessons.
It's harder than you thought it'd be?
Not for
No.
me, no. No, in fact, the training went easier than I thought it would. You know, a week before we opened, we had the staff in there, and we basically made pizzas and had somebody score them. And the goal was to make 60 an hour with no errors. And they were making about 30 an hour, and about a third of those would pass. So they came up really fast. The quality of the pizza is really good.
How do you become a judge for that? Because you can put my name down
Okay.
for next
Yeah,
time.
you know, come
We'll
on
be
in.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to see you there.
So you said it's easier than you thought it would be.
That part was,
Getting customers, has that been a challenge?
you know, here's what surprised me.
Well, we haven't done any advertising
On purpose.
Any formal advertising, because we really, really want the quality and the consistency and the speed before we try and open the floodgates.
We want to make sure people have the experience that we intend, that we're promising them, and that they're paying for when they come in. And I'd say we're doing a pretty good job with that. I'd like to see it a little faster. I'd like to see a little more accuracy, and just do some training around those things. So to me, that's when we'll start advertising. We're just a couple of weeks away from that, but we've got a lot of fun things in the pipeline as far as new products. And we want to do soups. I've got a panini that's dynamite. It's basically you take the pizza dough, you cook it, puffs it into almost like a pita, and then you can slice it open and stuff it with good things and put it back in the oven. And there's just a lot of things we can do, but we want to basically walk before we run.
What advice would you have for someone watching that might want to open a restaurant, that has had a passion to open a cookie restaurant or a pizza restaurant?
Yeah.
I don't know. Make sure you're willing to miss out on a lot of sleep.
You guys look well rested.
Hey, thank you.
I mean,
You do, yeah.
You must be the makeup.
Yeah.
I don't know. What advice would you offer? I mean, there's a lot. We really have spent years, and the entire time we've been in Rexburg, I think we moved into our house, and 2 weeks later we were working a street festival, and so we really have had a lot of experience with the market, with getting to know the people and the customers, and have really put, even though, I mean, we kind of appeared in the last month or so, we've really been working on it for 5 years in Rexburg.
Yeah. I teach my students, before you launch a new venture, list the assumptions that have to be true for this thing to succeed. And start with the things about what do people really want. And then do an experiment, test. Do you have something they really want? And that's kind of how we approached it, right? Before we committed a lot of financial resources to this, we did a lot of testing to see if we could make something that was really valuable, that people get excited about and talk about. I think if I was going to advise anyone going into the food business, it would be first, if you do something amazing, it'll probably work. And if you go to a lot of independently owned restaurants, you'll probably see the same menu that was there years ago. So I would say be curious. I always think it's funny because everything I've learned, I've gone to a couple of really, I would say, great pizza schools. So I went to a school in San Francisco with Tony Gimignani. He is probably the most famous guy in pizza. He's like the Willy Wonka of pizza. He has like this shop and it's like full of amazing wonders, and he does every style you can imagine. And he's got a great like personality. He's just a really wonderful person to get to know. And I learned so much from him. And then I still felt like I needed some more education on what I was trying to do. So I went to a school in New York by Roberto Caporuscio, who is another really well-known. He's very focused on Neapolitan pizza. So Tony kind of does a lot of things. Roberto does one thing. And as I learned from both of those guys, what we do isn't quite the same as what I learned from either one, but I learned some of the theories and principles behind how does this work. And I feel like, so one, get smart about what you're doing, and then two, just stay curious. Don't get static. So when you feel like you've made it, it's probably time to innovate.
Righteous Slice, that's the name of the restaurant. You're right by Five Guys, right?
Yeah, that's right.
In Hemming Village,
yep.
In Rexburg. Been open about a month now, so you can go in and try the Praise the Lard, the lemon pizza, what was that one called?
Sunshine in My Soul.
Sunshine in My Soul.
Yeah.
And all the other 6 or 7 specialty pizzas that they have. I guess you guys have a website too and a Facebook page.
Yeah, website, Facebook. You can message us on Facebook. We respond within minutes.
Great. So we'll link down below. You can go check those out. And next time I'm in Rexburg, I'll be stopping by for a Righteous Slice.
That sounds great.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks, Nate.
You.
Thank you for watching. Go grab some pizza. Have a good week.